Hello, everyone, and welcome into RedHawk Football Weekly. The Miami RedHawks suffer a tough defeat at the Horseshoe to the Ohio State University Buckeyes. This week, it's the Mid-American Conference opener as the Buffalo Bulls will come to Yager Stadium for a noon kick on Saturday. I'm Steve Baker, the voice of the RedHawks, and joining me is the head coach of the RedHawks, Chuck Martin. And Coach, a tough football game. You knew going in it was going to be tough against the sixth-ranked Buckeyes, but I really thought that your team, we talk about the look in the eyes when they come out of the locker room. I think they had that look, and it really showed in the first quarter of the football game.
Yeah, no, our kids are really excited about this game, this opportunity playing in the Horseshoe, taking a shot at Ohio State, seeing how they matched up individually against some of the best players in the country. So our kids were excited. I think we had good plans. Obviously, you have to alter the plans a little bit on both sides of the ball based on who you're playing competition. Obviously, you want to, you're trying to protect your quarterback and get the ball out of his hands quickly. But as good as we can play in the first quarter, that's as good as we can play. I mean, I watched the first quarter. I've watched it 3 times. I watched it 1 time live. Offensively, we carved out as much in the run game as you could carve out against the Buckeyes. We probably ran it a little bit better. We threw the ball around in the first quarter under duress. The quarterback's under duress. The receivers are under duress. It wasn't like we had guys, open. We moved the ball in the first drive. Then our punt team comes out and executes flawlessly. We down it on the 1 yard line. You can't ask for a better start to the game. Then the defense comes out there, takes advantage. We almost get a safety on a run play on first down. He barely gets out of the end zone. Then they try to throw it on second down. We get a sack fumble. Unfortunately, the ball goes out of the back of the end zone. We could have used 7 instead of 2, but great start. Offense gets and moves the ball on another beautiful drive. And again, running the ball somewhat effectively, which was a daunting task anytime against the Buckeyes. And you go in the game, you got 3 starting offensive linemen not playing.
Right.
So you've got most of your backup offensive line in there, and they're actually blocking the Buckeyes enough and we had some nice schemes going to spread them out a little bit. And you drive down a beautiful drive, and you get a field goal. I know we didn't get the touchdown, but we got a field goal. They go on another drive. We make them earn it. Even the touchdown, we had a chance to tackle the guy in the backfield, and Dobbins makes a kid miss, and I got no issue. My kid shot his gun. He attacked, and Dobbins made him miss and then went in the end zone. But then we get another stop defensively, and you look up at the end of the first quarter, we got 120-some yards.
Yep.
They've got 80-some yards, which 15 minutes of football against the Buckeyes. And we didn't have any explosive plays. We kind of methodically moved the ball against a talented group, and we had 2 stops in 3 possessions and made them go on a long drive. Then the second quarter is about as bad as we can play,
right.
And again, first one, let's not take anything away from Ohio State. I'm not saying if we just would have kept playing our game, we'd have just stuck with them. I'm certainly not anyone listening thinking, well, what does he think? Ohio State's pretty good? No, I know they're pretty good, and they create a lot of the things that happen.
Right.
But from our standpoint, we're always looking from within. What can we control? What can we had 2 balls thrown over our head in the second quarter. We wanted to make them drive the football, and they were more than capable of driving it. We wanted to try to tackle and limit yards after catch, which we did in the first half. But the 2 balls over our head in the second quarter defensively, they're on us. 1 down the middle, 1 in the deep third. Gave them easy scores, and they're too good to give easy scores. Offensively, obviously, we have the 1 interception. Again, guy was covered. We try to force it. When you force, when guys are covered, you throw a pick. The other 2 sack fumbles. We're in a 7-man protection against a 4-man rush. Our guys are fighting. I got no issue with our kids. We're fighting and scratching. Kid got home in a hurry and hit our quarterback before he even had his chance to throw. Do I like those 2 sack fumbles? No. Are we still trying to throw the ball and make plays and run our offense? And yeah, we're still trying to do it, and we're trying to protect them. But on a lot of snaps, we did protect them. On those 2 snaps, we didn't protect them. And then obviously the block punt, there was a miscommunication. Who was blocking who? And the guy got a little bit free and got off the edge. So you have basically 4 turnovers. You give up 2 explosive plays over your head, and you go from really playing a really, really awesome first quarter to a really ugly second quarter, and the game gets out of hand. And obviously they're talented enough, and all those mistakes, were they forced? Yes, of course they were forced. They had, but we're looking at what we can do and how we can do it better. So our starters basically play 30 minutes. The starters that could play, obviously we had a bunch of guys out going into the game, so we didn't even go in there full-handed.
Right.
But the guys that played the first half, like I told them yesterday, really proud of the first quarter. Not awesome second quarter. I get it. We got to get better. We got to look at those things and correct a lot of the things we didn't do well in the second quarter. And then the second half was the second half. At that point, we had we're already beat up. We have to try to get our best player out of harm's way the best we can. We let the starters play a series in the third quarter, and then we went to the guys down the road, which, again, like I said after the game and earlier today, the positive, those young guys got out there, go and see what it's like to play Ohio State.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some of the first quarter and the things that happened for Miami that were on the good side. First drive of the game, quick pass, first play of the game for Miami. Jack Sorensen makes a big catch.
Yeah, and again, a lot of quick throws, a lot of timing throws, a lot of max protection. Here we got everybody in protection, and we got a one-on-one matchup, and Jack wins a one-on-one matchup, does a good job getting north and south, breaks the first tackle, almost gets us a first down.
9-yard pickup there on 2nd and 1. It'll be Davion Johnson rushing for 6 yards.
Yeah, nice hole. That's about as big a hole as you're going to get.
Yeah.
6-yard game seems like a lot on Saturday. I was pretty excited on 2nd and 1. We ran and got the first down. But good job up front. We got people covered up. Good read by Brett, gives it out. And good job by Davian, and good job holding on the ball.
This is one that Brett Gabbert's going to want back. We talked about it after the game. Misses James May on the right side.
Yeah, good job. We got a good little route on. He reads it right, just throws it behind James. We had James open down the sideline with a chance for a big play.
And coming back on 3rd and 12, a couple of plays later, as you take a look at it one more time here, James May, the defender thinking it was going in, and Mays went out, just couldn't get there. But Jack Sorensen again reaches out for the first down.
Yeah, nice job. Good route. Again, got open, good timing, quick throw, good protection. One-on-one with Jack on 3rd down. We hit a strike and we get an easy first down.
This drive would falter at the 47, but here's a great special teams play.
Yeah, really good start to the game. Got us some momentum. Then incredible punt. Then awesome job by Jalen Walker. Different NFL rules than college rules. NFL, if any part of your body goes in the end zone. College is just about where the football is. 1st
and 10 from the 2-yard line for Ohio State. You nearly get a safety here on Dobbins as he just gets the ball to cross the line.
Yeah, really good defensive play. Bart Barati and the defense line do an awesome job penetrating. Bart hits him in the end zone, and Dobbins obviously just barely gets the ball out to the half-yard line. But really good job up front, and great job by Barati and Mike Brown on the edge there.
2nd down and 11, and Miles Reed makes the play.
All right, really nice job. One-on-one on the back. Does a great job of stripping the football from the quarterback. Goes on the back of the end zone, and we got a 2-0 lead.
You get another look at it here as Miles off the edge, got around the running back Dobbins and was able to get the quarterback Fields and get a safety for Miami, who would take that 2-0 lead and, of course, would get the ball back on the kick. And from 1st and 10 at the Miami 31, as you take a look at it one more time there, and the great play by Miles Reed from the Miami 31, Tyree Shelton on the run.
Yeah, again, really nice job up front in the run game. Like I said, going the game with 3 offensive linemen out, and you're running the ball somewhat effectively against the Buckeyes. Really proud of what they're doing up front.
RedHawk running game was working very well, but this time Brett Gabbert decides to go around the right side.
Yeah, good replay, good job scampering, good job getting out of bounds, getting out of harm's way.
Yeah, nice read as he gets to the right side and gets out of bounds for a first down. 3rd and 2 upcoming here, and Maurice Thomas gets in the action.
Yeah, nice job. Good little scheme by our offensive staff. Good job getting the ball to Mo, and then Mo makes the first guy miss, turns what should have been a 7-8 yard gain into a 15-yard, 20-yard game, and Mo again showed how explosive he is, how good his speed is. He outran guys from Ohio State on returns. He outran guys on jet sweeps, so Mo had a really nice day for us.
Did indeed. Jack Sorensen then on 1st and 10 from the 24.
Yep. Jack slipped a little bit on his cut and then makes a ridiculously great catch. He was really open, and he's frustrated. I think he thought he could run after the catch here, but does a great job, even though he slips, to lay out and make a tremendous catch.
This drive would stall after being 1st and goal, and Sam Sloman, who remains perfect, hits it from 21.
Yeah, nice job again. At this point, you know, you're halfway through a quarter and you've done nothing but good things against Ohio State.
And the Buckeyes, after this, would score late in the first quarter. The first quarter would end 7-5. And then, as you said, the second quarter, an interception, 2 sack fumbles, blocked punt, led to 4 Buckeye scores in that second quarter. And they take the big lead into the locker room. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about that second half for Miami. A little bit later, we'll preview the match opener coming up this Saturday at noon against the Buffalo Bulls. Stay with us.
Run with us in the unstoppable John Deere Gator XUV 835 and be prepared to go the extra mile. Because when others take rain checks, we take the wheel. With 3 wide seating, heat, and AC, this is the coolest, most comfortable Gator yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us.
Run with us and get $500 off your very own Gator XUV 835M at Koenig Equipment.
This segment of RedHawk Football Weekly is brought to you by Courtyard Marriott Hamilton, conveniently located just miles from Miami University. And we are back on Red Hawk Football Weekly. Steve Baker here, rejoined by the head coach of the Red Hawks, Chuck Martin. And the second half, as you said, Coach, in that game, you're down 49-5 at the break, and you leave your starters in for a series, and then the other guys get to play. The freshmen, everybody else. You said in your press conference, 86 players on the buses, and they all got in. And probably not the best situation to go into, but nevertheless, the experience is invaluable.
Yeah, no, I said that was the one positive post-game. Second half, those guys got out there, and one, they got to play against Ohio State. They got to play in the shoe. Two, they got to feel, see, smell, breathe what the highest end of college football looks like. So great barometer for any kid, let alone a young kid that's hasn't had the experience of playing games and doesn't have a lot of game experience. So they were excited to get their opportunity. Again, did we struggle? Yeah, we struggled. But you know, the nice thing second half was real football. Ohio State was still trying to score points. They're still getting after us on defense. And so it wasn't like they called off the dogs or anything. They gave our kids an opportunity to play and try to defend them running their offense, which again is crazy great experience for those kids. Even if it wasn't super enjoyable all the time being out there, is still at the end of the day, they got a great experience in a great environment and got to be part of it.
Interesting that, the overall experience, and you've watched the film, you've seen the film, and what do you take from that as far as what you have to do or can do as you get ready for the MAC schedule?
Yeah, it's like any other game. Obviously, you're trying to draw from the positives and you're trying to improve on the negatives, and there's a balance there when you play a team like that sometimes not every bad play you're totally down on your kids. Again, if they didn't execute the call, if they didn't get lined up right, if they didn't play their technique, then that's on us. If there's times in games where that was the case and we got to make all those corrections, and we did it a day ago. We talked about protecting the football. We talked about not getting the ball in behind us on big plays. Mm-hmm. And then some of the other ones is you watch it and you're like, hey, your kids are executing the call. They're playing good technique. They're fighting their tails off. And I'm not going to get down on my kids just to get down on my kids because the outcome says that they're no good and they stink, and that's a tough part of that game for our kids. They live it, they breathe it, and they got to live it and breathe it, for the next week, and and the outcome's the outcome, and the rest of the world is going to draw from the outcome that there was no good in the game. But our starters basically played a half and went toe to toe for 15 minutes in the second quarter. Wasn't very good, and we made some mistakes, and they took advantage of our mistakes, and then the other plays we got physically beat, and they took advantage of that too. So, but I want our kids to grow from, hey, you did some things. You just watched some of the plays we made, and okay, Miles Reed, you beat the guy one-on-one pass rush. That's a good play. No one can. I don't care what the score says. That's a good play. Mm-hmm. Punt execution, that's good. How we moved the ball and how we ran the ball in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. So, and then then you lose your quarterback. We lose Davion in the second quarter, and So, and again, they're going to wear us down some anyway. So there is positives to be taken, there's negatives to be taken. But biggest thing for me is my team. And like I said, you want them to go run through a brick wall. Well, they did run through over and over and over and over and over for 60 minutes. And at the end, it's a driving down rain. They're still trying to run through a brick wall. Did they always make it through the brick wall? No, they didn't. But they did, and I'm damn proud of our kids and how they competed. Was our execution what it needed to be in the second quarter? No. Yeah. Are we happy about that? No. But was our fight and going into that arena, and they got after it.
You talked about Brent Davion. That's the biggest worry about any of these games, and you played a gauntlet of them. How is the injury report? Obviously, I know that you don't have a whole lot of information. We're recording here on Monday, but in practice yesterday, or the walkthrough yesterday, in your press conference, you said it was just not good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was about what you expect. So a lot of guys, some guys that are hurt and heading for MRIs, where we certainly don't even have the news, like what to the extent of the injury. Right. And then there was another probably 10 guys that couldn't even walk through last night. Like they were just standing. They were just standing there watching, and they could pay attention, but they were sore or locked up, or their neck or their back or the whole deal. And that's just the nature of the beast. So that was kind of what we expected from what we've put our kids through, and that's the way it is moving forward. And we got big ones right on the horizon. So that's why we've been talking about it since last January, about developing kids and getting a bunch of guys ready to play. And you threes will be twos will become ones, and we're not a third of the way through the season, and we're already dealing with that.
Yeah. We're talking with head coach Chuck Martin. The Buffalo Bulls lie in wait as they'll come to Yager Stadium on Saturday for a noon kickoff. We'll talk about that next here on Red Hawk Football Weekly. This segment of Red Hawk Football Weekly has been brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott Hamilton. conveniently located just miles from Miami University. And our final segment of RedHawk Football Weekly for this week, Steve Baker and head coach Chuck Martin. The Buffalo Bulls come to town. Before we talk about the Bulls, I do want to ask you, you kind of alluded to it in the press conference. There's so much out there, whether it's social media, whether it's the kids in class or their roommates or people you see on the street, that those people are going to look at the score and say, what the heck? What's this all about? How do you get your team from that mentality, facing that mentality, ready to go in a Mid-American Conference race this Saturday?
I don't really have the answer to that. I mean, that's the hardest. Like I said, that's the hardest task, and we've been through it before. And it's hard.
Yeah.
You're pulling back on campus late on Saturday night, and there's the buses are pulling in, and there's whatever appears to be students. I don't know who they are, but it's late at night, and they see our buses, and they're all giving us the thumbs down. I mean,
Right.
that's our reality. Mm-hmm. And again, for our kids, that's a reality. They gotta live it. They gotta read about all the stuff. So I don't know. That's the major task at hand, and you got to have unbelievable resolve, and you have to have unbelievable belief, and you have to have some crazy fortitude that most people don't have, and it's very difficult to, And then you couple in, okay, that's not a positive, and then you go out to your walkthrough, and everybody's looking around, and there's a bunch of good players that aren't at their walkthrough, and then that's depressing, and it's like, so that was most of our Sunday was talking about those things and thinking about those things. That'll be most of our Monday, most of our Tuesday, most of our Wednesday, most of our Thursday, most of our Friday, and so it is what it is, and it's when you don't have success, it doesn't matter what you do in life. Mm-hmm. If you don't have successes, or you have what is a giant non-success,
right.
Then you have to, how do you overcome? And we all know from our own little trials and tribulations in life how hard those little things are to overcome. And then, so that's just the nature of the beast. And we're like I told the kids Sunday, because we've done a good job in the past, we went from 0-6 to 6-6. Right. Last year we were 0-3 and we stunk, and anything you read about us, we were awful. And we lost 23-3 to Minnesota, and we couldn't do this, and we couldn't do this, and we couldn't do this. And like I told kids, because we overcame last year and went 6-2 and had the second best record, that doesn't mean it's going to happen all together again. And then Saturday's experience was a totally different one. Last year in Minnesota, we were kind of kicking ourselves. We thought, 23-3, we thought, hey, if play here, play there, that we do better. And this is anybody's game where there was a little more frustration than just what you experience on Saturday and being overwhelmed. And so, yes, we can draw on that we've been good and had resolve in the past and came out swinging and never backed down and never made an excuse and never. But that doesn't, like I said, don't rely on that it's just because it was okay
Right.
a couple other years that we didn't.
Right.
Because most teams do. Most teams, they do the NFL stat already. Like, if you start off 0-2, you don't make the playoffs. If you start 0-3, you never make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a reason for it, because they're human beings. Even at that level, they're professionals. They're human beings.
Right.
And when things don't start well, they had the stat of the 0-3 NFL team, and there's a 16-game schedule.
Right.
Like, you could go 13-3.
Yeah.
That they, like 2% of them make the playoffs because the season's already over in everybody's mind and the fans, and they buy into that. And
Right.
for some reason, we've done an unbelievable job of not buying into that here, and we're not going to buy into it this year, and we'll see how it goes.
Buffalo Bulls in town Saturday at noon, and this is a team that lost a lot of players, but is playing some pretty good football. 5 turnovers against Temple. They forced 4 turnovers and got 5 on the game and defeat the Owls 38-22. And again, some new faces, but still the same Buffalo team.
Yeah, very obviously coming off, and anytime you win the league, they're 7-1 last year. We're 6-2. We lose to them 51-42 at their place on a Tuesday night, and in a knockdown, drag out, back and forth, 60 minutes of, if you like watching some high-powered offenses. You saw them that night.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've lost some key components, but offensively, they're doing the same thing. They run the ball. They ran the ball, I think, 48, 49 times last week against Temple. Temple's coming off this huge win over Maryland, who Maryland was everybody's darling, the best team in the country coming on, and then Temple goes to Maryland and beats Maryland. And then Temple had to go to Buffalo, and Buffalo ran the ball crazy effectively, possess the clock, and then they're throwing the ball over people's heads again. They have three deep balls against Penn State for completion. So the same formula for success, different people, but run the ball and whip it deep. Defensively, obviously, like you allude to, attacking, they set up the victory, running the ball and playing defense and getting turnovers. They had a great week on defense, stuffing Temple's offense, but then also creating those turnovers in those short fields. The same thing we went through in the second quarter against Ohio State. Temple went through in the second quarter against Buffalo. Temple was up 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, and I think it was 28-3 at half, because of turnover and short fields and easy scores. So they're playing good football. They're coming in. Obviously, their locker room feels great after you just beat a team that just beat a ranked team. And they have a little different mojo than we have right now, so that'll be part. But they're a good football team and coming off a great season.
Coach, best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
it. Head coach Chuck Martin talking with us again. It's a noon kickoff on Saturday against the Bulls of the University of Buffalo. Myself, Terry Bridge, and Randy Hollowell will be on the air at 11 a.m. with the Knowles of Oxford Tailgate Show on the Miami Sports Network. That'll do it for us this week. Thanks for watching Red Hawk Football Weekly.